I don't even know how this is possible. The math bewilders me, but somehow Max Holloway has been in the UFC for 43 years. Personally, I think that Conor is going to grapple with him. I think he knows that Max has no grappling whatsoever. I think he's going to, especially after seeing, we know Conor likes to grapple. He's always enjoyed, like, it always surprised me how I would see so much footage of him grappling. And it's like, does he have a weird kind of, and I guess a lot of people are like that. When you become, it's like Bo Nickel wanting to strike instead of wrestle. It's like, it's always that grass is greener kind of mindset. Like, you just kind of want to get some strange. You want to explore a little bit. It's like, bro, like El Mero Mero. It's like, dude, wrestle. Let's wrestle. What are you doing, bro? So people just like to do that. He's always liked to wrestle. I've seen so much footage of him grappling. I'm like, dude, what's happening? And now he's not showing any footage. It's like, what the heck? He's always showing footage of him grappling. And now there's none. It's like, okay. I think he wants to kind of blindside Max like Oliveira did. Because after Max, I didn't think he was going to do that. I thought we were going to fight that BMF. I wasn't expecting that. He trained for... Well, dude, it's a fight. It's a fight. That's like saying, well, I didn't know he was going to leg kick me. You got to be ready, bro. Got to be ready for that. I think Conor's going to grapple with him. I think that Conor McGregor's been walking around at like 210 pounds. And I think, here's the thing. I was just watching a video with Joe Rogan and the Protect Your Neck crew. And they were trying to say, I think it's going to be a good thing for Max Holloway to fight at 170 because we have inside information that he walks around at like 176. And go watch the video and see if he said 176. See how much autism I have. If he said 176 and I'm correct, that's pretty cool. I have a photogenic memory. But they said this is good for Max Holloway because he walks around at 176. He's gonna fight at 170. He don't even have to cut weight, bro. Let that marinate with you for a moment while I take a bite. Hey, don't smoke trees, eat trees. That's what I always say. They're trying to frame this as if it's a very significant advantage for Max Holloway that he is coming in basically at 170. What they don't seem to be considering is something that's always talked about as a huge advantage. I don't know if it's a betting thing or what. I don't know. It's crazy that the narrative, and you're going to see what I'm talking about in the moment, that the narrative is always one thing. And now it's like, how are people acting like they don't understand this? I always hear about it, and now no one's talking about it. Conor McGregor looked kind of frail the other day. And what's going to happen on the night of the fight, he's going to be able to weigh like 200 pounds. Because he's had his body in such a state that it's going to naturally be able to climb back there after he goes out and has a pizza, right? You know, the night right before the fight or something like that. Max is stuck at 170. And, you know, I was watching something the other day and I thought it was an interesting conversation. Because there's always the talk about weight cutting and how stupid weight cutting is and how it drains you and it's unhealthy and all that, which I agree with. But somebody made a point that I thought, okay, that's interesting. That's a good point. The person was talking about fighting weight. And I was like, ooh, okay, that's interesting. Because normally people cut weight. And we see this, and I don't think it's a secret. They don't try to hide it. Normally, people try to cut weight because it's kind of like a cheat. You're trying to cheat your way into a certain category with certain people that have certain reaches and heights and whatever. Trying to get an advantage, which is stupid because everyone's trying to get that same advantage. It cancels itself out. It's so stupid. But anyway, what this person was saying was, Well, yeah, there's that. There's weight cutting and depleting yourself and shrinking your brain and all that. But then there's also fighting weight. And I could understand that because, we see people come into the cage all the time and we're like, oh, why does he look different right now? Why is he not taking care of, like Pereira is a perfect example. He put on the weight. Yeah, okay. According to the scale, you could legally or technically or whatever fight here now. According to the commission, cool, you made it. But I don't think I would call that your fighting weight, Pereira. I don't think, and I said this before. I'm not saying this after the fight, kind of perspective. Maybe that's not your optimal fighting weight. There's some people that are just crisper and cleaner and more agile and stuff like that at certain weights. So I do understand that. I don't think that's the case for Max at 170. I think that's 155 for him. And there was this era. He went from the blessed era to the stressed era. We know this. And then it looked like maybe he was getting to he got them cute little muscles era. And he was feeling himself and people were talking about it. I don't even know how this is possible. The math bewilders me, but somehow Max Holloway has been in the UFC for 43 years. It doesn't make sense on paper. I understand that. Somehow he's been in the UFC for 43 years. And when he went up to lightweight and got his cute little muscles, and he finally achieved hypertrophy, people were saying after all these years that Max was in the UFC, that now once he got them little peaks, now he's finally in his prime, which was wild for me to hear. All these years that Max Holloway was in the UFC, right when he was going to fight Dustin Gaethje, everyone was saying he was in his prime all of a sudden. And I mean, I get why they were saying that. He looked good. Apparently he felt good. He was crisp enough and focused enough and technical enough to get Gaethje boom right the way he did at the end of that first round, set the tone for the whole rest of the fight. But then he depleted himself again. He went shrunken head again. Thought he was going to get an easy victory over that dude. Oh, someone finally dethroned Volkanovski. Let me take my chance. But it was bad on his body. It was stress on his body. Now he's doing that. I don't know if it's like a Hawaiian technique. He's doing the BJ Penn. What, 6 months from now, he's going to be trying to fight at heavyweight? What are we doing? It's they think they got that Hawaiian punch, And they don't understand that it's just a fantastic, underrated beverage. Especially the green one. Have you had the green one? I think the green one's my favorite. I love the green one. Did you know there was a green Hawaiian punch? It excites me to think that I may be breaking this news for some of you. There's a green one. And I call it the green one because I don't know what the flavor is. But I do that anyway. I think we all do that. Hey, what kind of Gatorade do you want? The blue one. But I think Conor is going to be much heavier than Max. He's going to have way more power. Conor's always had more power than Max. Conor had more power than Max when they were relatively the same size. And now he's going to beef up to a 210-pound individual the night of the fight. And then you got Max Pillow Hands Holloway. I don't know what he thinks he's going to do with them hands. And I'm so tired. Is anybody else tired of this? It's so exhausting hearing people constantly talk about, well, if it goes past the first round, or if it goes past the second round. How many times are people ever right about that? People, I'd like to see like a win-loss record for that sentiment. That's just a thing that people rattle off to sound like, they're in the know. I don't know if that ever actually comes to pass. Somebody should keep score of that. I think that Conor has had 5 years to learn how to be efficient with his energy, if you will. I think he's had 5 years to rest, to heal, to train both his body and his mind, to recalibrate. And Max has been getting them dog years on him. He's been putting some miles on it. I think he's going to be weathered.